I was talking fantasy football with my friends the other day.
Well, Josh? Wow. Look who's back. Where the hell have you been? At home, sitting in your asses?
Go away now, Josh. Actually, my name is Alan.
The dorky white kid with a Kupp Scott bandana on his head.
Bravo.
Echo.
November.
Tango. On.
Football.
All right, welcome back to Benton Fantasy Football. Alan and Josh here again with you with another week of Benton Fantasy Football. And we're coming to you live. Oh, wait a minute. No, we're not.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. That's right. You know why? Because we don't have enough subscribers.
Yeah, we're close though.
Yeah, much closer than
Yes.
we were 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or
Before we started this, we
Yeah,
had zero before we started. So
Yep. So, anyway, a lot to talk about this week. We've got a lot of cool stuff going on in
some
the
fun
NFL.
stuff. So
Yeah. Let's start like we always do.
okay.
Let's pop open these beers.
You know what? I'm an idiot. I think
Did you give it away?
I gave it away. I pointed it at the camera. So all right, I'll go first.
Well, I guess you will now.
I voted yesterday. So
Who's yesterday? What was you running for?
oh, I don't remember. I just like the name. So
Oh, okay. All right. So you voted yesterday.
I voted yesterday.
Did
so
you vote for the same guy that I voted for?
I don't know. You know why?
Why?
Because I don't care who you voted for. I
Oh,
trust you either way.
All right. Well, I hope everybody else out there voted yesterday too. I waited in line for an hour to vote, but that's okay. It was worth it. Well, worth it to me. Did you have to wait?
I didn't really know. No.
Okay. Well, I don't like you. So we're gonna move on to my beer then. My beer is. I want you guys to please welcome James Robinson, the running back in the NFL. Not some imitation, not some
Yes.
fake.
Hometown hero from Rockford, Illinois.
That's right. The reason I put that on my can, though, is because we did send out an invitation to James Robinson to either be on the show, to like and subscribe and share our video, like I'm going to ask you guys to do in just a few minutes here.
We're not going to tell you how we reached out, but I will give you guys a hint. That new show on Netflix, I Am a Stalker, I may be on there soon. So, just kidding. That's not how we reached out. So,
yeah, he's just kidding. There's no maybe about it. He's definitely going to be on there.
Oh my God.
No. But in all seriousness, though, we do want the hometown hero to be on our show if possible, or even like, subscribe, and share. Make a comment on the show, good, bad, or indifferent. We don't care. Either way, we still love you, James. So, and I don't even know you, but
Yeah.
hometown hero.
And you know what I was thinking though? We got this Hester jersey back here behind us.
Yeah,
That's been back there. We've been using that for a couple of years now, haven't we?
we have.
Now Hester is a hero among Bear fans.
Yep.
But I have an idea. If for some reason we ever got like a James Robinson signed jersey, we could put Hester over there in the corner off camera.
And put James up here.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? In fact, I'll go so far as to say that I'll buy the jersey if he'll sign it.
Okay.
Of course, he's in New York.
Yeah,
now,
we'll
so-
buy the jersey with our huge salaries of $0.00.
Did you get a raise? Because last I knew, you were paying me to be on this show. What happened there?
We'll have to talk to our accountant, Miss Fortune, over here.
Yeah. Hey, Virginia. All right, so let's pop these bad boys open.
All right.
All right, guys, join us like we ask you every week. Sit back, pop open a cold one, and enjoy the show.
Cheers. Ah, man, that was good.
Yes, it was. So, James, if you're watching,
Oh, I'm sure he probably is now.
all right, we want you on the show. We'd love to have you. Either that, or like I said, just make a comment on our video, and we would absolutely love that. So, let's get going with this week.
Okay.
We got the beers under, and again, I want you guys to like, subscribe, and share also. So make sure you get the word out about our show, just for general entertainment purposes, and because we're doing pretty darn good. Well, oh, that's right. I'm doing really darn good on
Okay,
one of
I'm
my
going to
leagues.
talk about that in a second when we get into that next segment. So,
But all right, fair enough.
all right.
But anyway, yes, please do like, subscribe, and share, and get us out there, okay?
So I'll go right into it. I'll jump
Okay.
into our
Do it,
next
do it.
segment we've been doing since week 1, or week 2, I believe we started.
Yeah, I think
week
so.
1 or 2. Now, formerly it was called Starts and Sits. Now, for Alan's portion, it will continue to be Starts and Sits. I sent a message out on our group chat the other day through text message, And I was telling the guys, I'm going to rename my portion of it Sharts and Shits because my picks have just been absolutely horrible. And they were again this week. So
I don't like the shirts part. Let's call it farts and shits.
Farts and Shits. Okay, that'll be my portion of the show.
I like it. I like it. I like it. We should get T-shirts that say Josh farts and shit.
Whatever. Recap last week. I went 1-3. Alan went 2-2. You're 18-14, and I'm a mirror image of you, just like we are right here. I'm 14-18, just with more hair. So
yeah, less wins.
mhm.
So yeah, we almost a little bit above 500. One of us.
We're 500 as a team.
As a team.
Yeah.
Yeah. High five.
High five.
High 500. So yeah, not horrible. I mean, we're obviously not pros. We don't get paid to know all this stuff, but we do pretty good.
We don't get paid to know anything, so.
we-
Let alone football.
We do pretty good for people who don't get paid to do anything.
Yes,
or
that's
know
true.
Anything.
That's true.
So, all right, let's jump into it.
All right,
let's go back and you said I was 2-2.
Yeah, it was
you were
2-2. Now, my starts last week, Trevor Lawrence was really the only bright spot for me. Scored 20 fantasy points. Jamal Williams, I'm going to take the loss on this one because I thought he would at least have one rushing touchdown. He scored 10 points, which is not bad for a running back, but he didn't top the 100-yard mark. He didn't have a single catch in that game, which really boggled my mind because normally he has 3 to 5 catches.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, right around there.
yeah, right around there. So he had 10 points. Pittman, we love you, Pittman, but what is going on in Indy, man? We've got to get it together. We both love you. We're both high on you, but 4 points. And then this next one for me is not a surprise. I prefaced it last week by saying the only reason I put him as a start, or in my case, a fart, is because he was my starting tight end because I was scraping the bottom of the barrel. That's Will Dissly. I didn't really expect big things from you, but I wanted you to score well just because I had you, and you didn't. So I went 1-3. Alan, you did good on there's TJ Hawkinson. That's the only one that really hurt you.
Yeah.
You had Wilson against Buffalo, Zach Wilson. They did win, however, man, that was a great win.
Yeah.
Put up 14 points. That's not good for a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
in
By the way,
fantasy.
James, good job.
Yeah,
Good job
absolutely,
out there.
man. Oh, did you know this? I'm going to interrupt for a sec. If the New York Jets win their next game and Buffalo loses their next game,
Mm-hmm.
the New York Jets will be in sole possession of first place in the AFC East.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
And-
We're in week 10 and we're saying that.
We
So
look back to a year ago, and who would have said that about this year? The Jets being the possibility of them being in first place all by themselves.
right.
Yeah, that's awesome. Man.
So Allen took the KC running backs again. That Tennessee defense really stifled them. However, they did have 50 rushing yards and a touchdown from one of those guys, but it was Mahomes, so it wasn't a running back technically. So you got that.
Right.
Gabe Davis put up 4 points, so not really much. Hawkinson had a great game. He was just under pace of Jefferson as far as yards wise goes. So
Yeah,
he
that
put up
wasn't
12
hard.
and a half points. So that's damn good.
See, I tried using logic on that. I'm never going to do that again. He came in halfway.
When does our logic ever work out?
No,
it doesn't.
See, that's my proof right there. Proof in the pudding.
Yes. What
All
kind of
right.
pudding though?
Yeah, proof pudding.
Oh, whatever. Okay. I'm not eating any of that. But anyway,
90 proof pudding.
I went first last week with my starts. So Alan's going to go first with his starts this week.
Yep. So right off the top, I've got. Now this may come as a shock to you guys. I got Russell Wilson against Tennessee's defense.
Yeah.
He had 252 yards 2 weeks ago. They were on a bye last week, so he had 252 yards, 1 touchdown. Not great numbers, but I'd say serviceable.
Yeah.
With that being said, he's playing a Tennessee defense whose secondary is lackluster.
They're lackluster.
So
That run game is something else, but
right,
or that
yeah.
run defense is something else.
Exactly right. And I parlayed against them last week.
I know you did,
So
and it worked out.
yeah. So Russell Wilson, I think he's going to have his breakout week. They're coming off the bye. They're probably putting some pieces of the puzzle together. You're going to start seeing a little bit more momentum from that offense. I think it's, again, a gradual thing. I don't think it's going to be an overnight success, but I'm putting my money on Russell Wilson this week.
Okay, I like it. I like it.
Okay. So running back, and this one we've talked about. We talked about a little bit before, and that's Cordarrelle Patterson. Last week, 13 carries, 44 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Okay? Yardage-wise, not a whole lot, but touchdowns are where your real bread and butter is.
Algier was really the big heavy yardage guy, but Cordero is just electric, man, when you give him that ball.
Yeah, the only thing that concerns me with him is he led the team in carries with 13.
Yeah.
Which means that ball's getting, everybody's getting a little piece of that pie. However, still back, I think you're going to see his usage increase also. I think they're kind of like easing him into it and giving him a full workload at some point.
Yeah, well, his carries have increased in each of the last 3 games, and I think he's back. I do. I mean,
I think it's a good play this week.
Yeah, I do.
Carolina's run defense averaging 139.3 yards per game against running backs, so it's 12 touchdowns. I mean, it's kind of a...
Isn't that something? 12 touchdowns. That's just horrible in the NFL through 9 weeks. So
It's very, very weak. So, and I don't even know if Carolina, I think they've already had their bye too, so that might even be 8 weeks. 8 games, I should say.
I don't know if they did or not. That's
yeah, I'm not sure either.
My phone's over there charging, and Alan's is recording our show right now. So
anyway, they've given up 12 touchdowns.
Yes.
Bottom line,
Yeah.
No matter how many games, 8 or 9, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So weak defense. So I'm putting my money on Patterson this week.
Okay, I like it. And like I said, I think he's really, if not back, he's definitely on his way back.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're gonna progress him into.
And I thought he was done, 3-4 games ago, but hey, man, he surprised us again. So.
Yep. Now my next one, my wide receiver. This is a guy that I toil with every week, and the reason I do is because this is on a potentially explosive offense yet to explode consistently. And that's Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
I like Christian Kirk in that Jacksonville offense. I like the way they use him. It's just a matter of getting everything together at once. They got the running back Etienne. Thank you. Etienne is starting to show some real promise. They're giving him a heavier workload. It's eventually going to free things up for Kirk. And I think.
Do you think Etienne's a superstar at this point, or on his way to superstardom?
I can't say that. I can't say yes and I can't say no.
Okay, because his younger brother is actually in college now, and I was watching a game the other day, and they said he could be even more explosive than Travis can. And I thought, wow, that's going to be something if that's true.
Yeah, I mean. It's still early in his career. We still have a small sample size to work off of. Time will tell.
Yeah,
I
absolutely love the guy.
That offense is recalibrating. It's gonna fall into place at some point. It's just a matter of when. I'm hoping that at least for this week on Christian Kirk, I hope it's this week. So
I hope so
playing
too.
Kansas City's defense, 17 touchdowns given up to wide receivers this year, which is insane.
That game could be in the 40s for both teams.
It could.
Or it could be 19-16 or whatever.
No, I didn't look at the odds at all, so I have no idea what the over-under is. I'll wait and see, because I didn't look at anything at all. So
okay.
I'm playing completely off the cuff.
I believe that is one of the games that we are, it is one of the games, if we land on it, on our WOMF wheel, so.
All right, cool. So that's my pick for this week for wide receiver, Christian Kirk. Jumping down to tight end, Dallas Goedert is going to be my pick this week against Washington. I think Washington's defense is pretty decent.
Yeah.
I think they're playing over their head, though, to be honest with you. At this point, Goddard's going to be a good play only because they're starting to lean on Goddard more. And like I said, I think Washington's defense playing over their head. So we'll see.
They are. I mean, they had a few really stellar games, but you just don't really know what you're going to get. But I'd say it's more of a coin flip, but 2/3 of the time they're going to suck. So they just haven't really shown a lot. But I like that. I like that pick.
You said a coin then?
It's, you know what, I just made up my own odds, Alan, okay?
All right, cool. No, that's fine. Just curious.
I played odds maker on that, but I made my own odds up.
Fair enough. All right.
Picking on me.
That's my starts this week. Josh, why don't you run through your sits?
Here's my shits.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
My shits.
My bad. Your shits.
Matthew Stafford. We've talked about this time and time again. This is almost a weekly thing with the Los Angeles Rams. And anybody not named Kupp is not really putting up respectable fantasy numbers, and I don't know why, because that offense was prolific last year. They really were. Mm-hmm. In Arizona, they're my favorite team. Their defense is not very good. In fact, they lost to Seattle at home the other day by 10. Come on, man. They gave up a ton to Geno, but until Stafford really shows it, then I'm not going to start him. and I wouldn't suggest anybody else does.
No.
You know,
I
he was drafted as a top 12 quarterback, and he's really not living up even close to that.
No, I'm gonna tell you this right now. On my team, I've got Burrow as my quarterback
Okay.
in both leagues. Both leagues, I have my backup. One of them I have Trevor Lawrence.
Mhm.
Again, goes along with my Christian Kirk pick.
Yes.
The other one, I have Matthew Stafford as my backup. So I'm hoping.
Can I say something honestly? It's kind of surprising to me you still have Stafford on your lineup. You're still holding on to him. We were high on him going into this year, but he's proved us wrong, man.
I understand that, but that offense has got a lot of weapons on it. At some point, it's going to have to be more than just Kupp. It's going to. Allen Robinson is a good wide receiver. They just don't throw to him as much, with Kupp hogging the ball. I mean,
Yeah.
no offense.
And
Kupp,
you remember in
but
our earlier show, I thought he was going to be a superstar because of that offense, and really hasn't done much. So I was wrong on that.
I think we talked about this before. Taking Robert Woods out and putting Allen Robinson in, I said was more of a lateral move, but. I don't really think it matters with Kupp.
I really don't.
I
So
don't think it makes a
you're right.
difference. But all right.
So I got Stafford. Deontay Foreman. I like the guy. He's a young running back. He's got great talent, explosive ability. They're playing Atlanta, but not so much as they're playing Atlanta. He plays for Carolina, and that. We'll see what happens now that Baker's back. It looks like they're probably going to bench P.J. Walker going forward for Baker. Maybe that can open things up a little bit, but that offense has just been horrible.
Sputtering.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And we've said it time and time again, we don't believe in revenge games. We don't think that, that's actually a thing unless there was some kind of bitterness there, but whatever.
Yeah. The only player on Carolina worth even fielding right now, not being on lineups because Foreman should be owned, but starting in fantasy leagues at this point is DJ Moore. And you know what? I loved Foreman, but it's just hard to trust him.
And another team just going to have to tear down and rebuild,
Yeah.
All right, so move on.
Okay, so those ones are not normally like the ones that my off-the-cuff big leaps, but I do have a couple here. DK Metcalf. Now, they're playing Tampa Bay. I'm high on Geno, and I was high on Geno. I'm not starting him this week. I'm starting Derek Carr over him because I don't like that matchup with Tampa Bay. Okay. DK Metcalf, he's almost going to be touchdown dependent in this game, I think. There may not be a lot of volume. They're really starting to go to Noah Fant more. They're going to Lockett more. Kenneth Walker is really taking a lot of the stress off Geno, too. He's really coming into his own.
He is. Yep.
So remember, guys, it's called shits now. So if I tell you to sit or shit, DK Metcalf, you probably want to start him.
So make sure you shit him down.
Yes. No, but I just have a feeling this week. I don't think he's going to be touchdown dependent. You know what I mean? And then Hawkinson, the guy you sat last week, I don't like the matchup with Buffalo. I don't.
Now, I'm going to tell you right now, if TJ Hawkinson proves both of us wrong in consecutive weeks, we're going to have to reevaluate our life choices on this show because...
Well, not our life choices, our start and sit choices.
No, I have to reevaluate my entire life choices because that means I made a lot of mistakes in my life if he proved me wrong twice.
And I think there's we talked about this a little before the show too. I think that game could be a shootout or it could be a defensive battle. Something might be going on in Buffalo because they're at home against Minnesota. They're a 3.5-point favorite, so you got the automatic 3. So they're basically it's a neutral game. Is what the experts are saying. I don't understand why that line is quite as low as it is, but maybe we'll get into that when we do our WOMF. So who knows?
Yeah.
But that's my reason for Hawkinson. I just don't like it.
Okay, fair enough. All right,
cool.
Sounds good.
All right,
let's jump on. This week we're going to talk about
Gubb.
What's Gubb?
Okay.
What's got us bound? Josh, go ahead.
You want me to go first or you?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. This isn't what's really got me Gubb, but this is going to be my bonus. We voted yesterday, okay, as I'm sure many of you guys did as well. However, is it going to air tonight? This is Wednesday when we're recording, so it may not air tomorrow. We voted on Tuesday, however.
Probably not tonight because the guy that does the production is kind of lazy. So, but anyway.
Wait, no, I'm the producer. You're the director, so the guy who directs it.
No.
Anyway, whatever.
We'll get into that some other time.
But political texts and calls. No, I'm not saying if you post something in a text or post something on Facebook or whatever, things like that, political. That's your own opinion. I don't appreciate getting 250 to 300 text messages a month or phone calls a month before the election saying, "Hey, I just wanted to reach out. I'm calling on behalf of this person. We'd like you to vote for us," and I'll tell you what, I was on the fence on a few of the people that we voted for locally here, and I'll tell you what, one of them I swung the other direction because I counted. I went back through my phone.
Wait a minute, did you just say you swing both ways?
Okay, we're gonna cut that part out. I swung the other way on the way that I was going to vote because I went back last week. I had 27 text messages from this person running for office. That's local here to Rockford. I swung the other way. I voted for the other person because I was on the fence on policies and so forth. I don't want to get inundated with that crap. Just leave me alone.
So that's what they were talking about when they were talking about the swinger votes. I get it. Okay.
Oh my God, just stop.
No, but I feel you, man. I haven't gotten so many this year because I don't put my number out there hardly unless I have to. But yeah, no, I feel you, man, because I used to get those too, and man, what a pain. Those are terrible.
Yeah.
It's like the worst thing during election season. That's like the worst part of the whole election process.
Yes. I do have a bonus on something we talked about a few weeks ago on Gov.
Okay.
We talked about the Nets, how they were most likely going to hire Ime Udoka.
Yep.
They went up a notch in my book. Now they're not all the way up there because they still thought about hiring the guy. Why they even entertained it is beyond my understanding. But the Nets have officially hired Jack Vaughn, so I am grateful. I am happy that they did not hire the Urban Meyer of basketball. So
the Urban Meyer, I love that. I love that. Cool.
So Nets, kudos to you. So
what's the other part of your gov?
The part of my gov, I'm going to be brief about this. Have you guys ever heard the name Mitchell Miller? Before today, I don't think you have, had you?
No.
Okay. Mitchell Miller we've talked about
Was he a Bears quarterback?
He was not.
Okay.
Thank God he was not, because I would never root for the Bears
So
again
it's
if
Jim
he was.
Miller and
Yes.
Mitch Trubisky. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
But Mitchell Miller, we've talked about Urban Meyer.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about Robert Sarver, probably one of the most disgusting individuals that we've ever talked about on this show, being Gub. I think this one may take the cake for me. I'm not going to give you guys any details, and Lord knows why it took so many years for this to come out. He's a former, at the moment, NHL player, so Google will use whatever search engine you can. Just search for Mitchell Miller, NHL player. And to me, he's an absolutely disgusting human being. So I'll put it to you that way.
Yep.
All right, so that's what's got me Gub.
Yep. Okay. Awesome. You know what's got me Gub?
I have a feeling because this is one of the games we were watching, and I think got us both Gub. So
Yes. Actually, that was a part of it. It's been a little bit of a noticeable trend, I guess.
Yeah.
Not just with Bears games, or any one team, but the referees. Now, before I even say anything else, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told Josh before we did the show. The referees, dollar for dollar, have the hardest job on the field, okay, by far. Okay, they have to make snap decisions. They have to know every single rule all the time. They have to have their eyes in two different places at the same time almost. So it's a very, very tough job, and it's a thankless job. Nobody ever says, man, tell you what, those refs had a great game.
It is.
So it's a thankless job.
And for the level of income disparity between the players and the refs, they really take more crap than anybody else, pretty much.
They take a bigger beating than the players do. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree. But that being said, and real quick, one other point on that. You remember when we had the strike and we had the fake referees?
Yes.
Fake news
the replacements. Yes.
Yeah. So we had them, and how terrible that was. That gives you an idea of how good these guys really are. So I'm not taking anything away from those guys, but there have been some really, really bad calls. And I know you got to make a decision like that right on the spot, but there's been some bad calls. The Bears, we talked about that. The non-call on Chase Claypool.
God, that was horrible.
If you guys if you're on the Bent on Fantasy Football Facebook page, I just posted something today in regard to that. So take a look at it. But that's just one example. I've seen several calls this year, or non-calls, as it were, that have been pretty bad. And again, me making the call on the field would be probably different. I'd probably, blow it too, but I'm not trained to do that. I'm not paid to do that. So, referees, for you guys, I love you guys for what you do, but try to do better.
Now, was that on third or fourth down in the?
I believe it was on third down because it sent them to four.
Okay.
I think it was. I think it was on third.
It was the last drive of the game for the Bears, and they had to get down and score a touchdown to even tie, attempt to tie.
Right.
So yeah, it's not like it was in the first quarter, game just starting, especially in a big moment like that. I mean, they looked like they were at the 8th grade dance together. They were, such hugging each other so tight. I mean, that was a ridiculous non-pass interference call.
Yeah, it was bad, and it lost the game for the Bears. But you know what? It's part of the season. I'm not hurt by that because we already talked about how the Bears.
We talked about how they're rebuilding.
So that's fine with me. I'm okay with it. But it does have me bent for a season. For the entire season.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Cup Watch.
Cup Watch. This is another one of our favorite segments. Yeah. Now, we were really into Cup Watch this week. Alan and I were watching this game intently. Not just for Cup Watch, right? What was the reason that we were really watching this game?
There was a lot of reasons. I had players in there. You had players in there.
But the big number one reason that we talked had never been done before, that we really wanted to see it happen.
Oh, yeah. Tom Brady.
Yes.
Losing 4 games in a row.
4 starts in a row.
For the first time in his career.
Yes.
Yeah. It didn't happen.
It didn't happen. They were down 13-9, and he led a game-winning drive.
But you know what? Moral victory, because we don't like Tom Brady.
We don't like Tom Brady anyway. But that offense really struggled. They scored 1 touchdown, and I'm sure you guys can guess who it was. Yes, it was Kupp. Yeah. 9 targets, 8 receptions, 127 yards on a team that scores 13 points. Come on. And the quarterback, what did Stafford throw for? Just under 200. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. Gosh. So he had the touchdown. So year to date, we're looking at 93 targets, 72 receptions, 813 yards, and 7 touchdowns.
Yep.
Through 8 games, that's just under 1 a game. So over the course of the year, 17 games, it still averages out to between 15 and 16 touchdowns. But we're still looking. His targets did drop because he didn't have double digits. He's only on pace for 198 now, so you guys can just drop him. He's not going to get 200 targets anymore.
And text me right before you do it.
Yes. Look, you have fab left. So 153 catches is what we're looking at, and 1,728 yards. I mean,
so at the beginning of our Cup Watch, where were we at as far as the pace goes? Do you have that information?
Yeah, I do. So here's what we're looking at. I'm going to go back. Let's see. Maybe okay. This is week 2. Okay, after week 2, that's when he had 14 and 15 targets back to back.
Yep.
So after week 2, we were looking at 29 targets, on pace for 247.
Wow.
Which is just unreal. 24 receptions, on pace for 204 receptions, not targets.
Not targets. Receptions.
A little over 2,000 yards and 26 touchdowns. So, in fact, do you see that what I wrote right there?
Wow.
So that was after week 2, but I mean, he has transgressed a little bit.
So it's leveled out, is what or not leveled out, but it's actually
really tapered. Yeah.
Yeah, it's come down to earth a little bit. Sure.
Well, he's come back down to wide receiver elite wide receiver 1 earth, not
A+ elite wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
Status, yeah.
Not godlike wide receiver here.
Right. So speaking of that, though, I do want to touch base on something, and that's still pretty awesome. We are going to keep an eye on Kupp and keep the Cup Watch going.
But we may have to do another watch show.
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So there's another wide receiver out there who's been pretty silent because of his number of touchdowns, I'm assuming. But he's getting a heck of a lot of yards and a heck of a lot of fantasy points, and I've got him on my league.
Yeah.
On my team.
And I got his field mate who broke the record for receiving yards through 2 games, or 8 games.
8 games, yeah. So that's Tyreek Hill. I looked it up the other day just out of curiosity because I'm like, man, this guy's getting a ton of yards. 1,900, and I didn't get the exact number. I don't remember the exact number, but 1,900 and some yards is the record. For
Nobody's ever gotten 2,000. They were saying during that broadcast, right. And I think he may.
Yeah, and we just had week 9. He just passed 1,000 yards, so he's pretty close to that pace.
Did they have their bye yet though, or I don't know if they did or not.
You know what? Let me find out. I'll find out. go ahead and talk and stall. Don't let them know that I'm actually looking somewhere. Okay? Thanks.
I think they may have, because I have Waddle, and when we were watching that game, because it's against the Bears, we watched mostly that game, the entire early game set. We did not know this, but Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill actually surpassed that prolific, dynamic 2000 Rams team, the greatest show on turf, Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt, for most yardage of receiver tandem through the first 8 games of the season. Oh, you know what? Oh my God, we just answered our own question. They didn't have a bye yet, because if that was through the first 8 games, then that game was the 9th. All
There you
right,
go.
so yeah.
Good answer.
See, we're not as dumb as we look.
I'm not as thick as you dumb I am.
We're dumber than we look.
Yeah, dumb and dumber. Dumb and dumber.
You're an idiot. I hate you for that. You're never going to let me live that down, are you?
What down? I don't know what you mean, dumber.
I said dumb and dumber a few weeks ago, and then I corrected myself because I realized.
No, I cut that part out of the show. I don't know if you noticed.
No, you didn't.
All right. Okay, so yeah, we may end up doing 2 watches this year, but we'll see. We'll kind of play that week by week. Now, one of my favorite parts of the show.
Womp.
Womp.
That was easy.
Wheel of Misfortune. All right. So let's get the Womp Wheel up
So
here.
I think you went first last week. So
I did.
You did.
Virginia, I went first last week, so it's Josh's turn to go first, okay? Okay, very
She's
good.
nodding and.
She isn't smiling. Why is she looking at you like that with one eye?
That's
Never
for
mind.
Chin McCaskey. She's drooling. She doesn't know where she is
Yeah.
right now. Nurse. All right. So is that pink or? All right.
Yeah, it looks pink.
All right. So what do we got here? Okay, this is a game we talked about just a little bit ago. Jacksonville versus KC. KC's at home, 9.5-point favorite, 50.5. You know what? I have no problem with that 50.5, that over 50.5. I am going to take Jacksonville plus the 9.5 though. KC's defense isn't the greatest. I mean, their offense is superstars, but I don't think that defense 9.5, even on the road against a team like KC, is just too hard for me to give. So I'm going to take Jacksonville plus 9.5 over 50.5.
Okay. You take Jacksonville plus the 9. I like that.
I would have thought that line, I mean, just in my opinion, not that it matters much because it doesn't matter at all, but I would have thought that line would have been more like 7.5, 8 at the most.
Yeah. I'd like to see Jacksonville just knock them off, period.
Oh, God, I would love that.
That'd be awesome. I'd love that. No offense, KC fans.
Yes.
But it is what it is. All right. So I got
We
Yeller.
got the Yeller.
Yeller.
Old Yeller.
Old Yeller. Didn't they people cry at the end of it? I don't know.
Well, they took him out back and shot him at the end, didn't they?
I don't know. I've never seen it or read it.
Well, you are getting up there, Alan, so.
All right. You gonna take me out back and shoot me? Is that what you're saying?
I would never do that.
We have this on video. You're claiming to kill. All right. Anyway, the game that I have is Atlanta versus Carolina.
Oh, God. That's going to be gross.
It's going to be awesome.
That's the Thursday night game, by the way.
It is. I can't wait. All right. Atlanta is favored by 2.5, and the over/under is 42.5. All right. So I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna take Atlanta to cover that spread.
Minus 2.5.
Minus 2.5.
Even though they're on the road, right?
They are.
Okay. Even though they're on the road, I still like it. Like we talked about, the Carolina D just isn't doing much.
And that's
I'm sorry, the Carolina offense.
Yeah, and that's something interesting too. We'll talk about at some point. Is what you just said about being on the road. 42.5. I'm going to take the under on that.
Under?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't like it at all. I don't know how many touchdowns Cordell's going to score, but that's probably all that's going to be happening.
Yeah. Even though we talk about how bad Carolina is, didn't they beat Tampa Bay 24-0 a couple weeks ago?
They did, but
it's I don't know what's going on.
It's the NFL.
It's weird, yeah.
Before you spin that, real quick, what I was talking about is, you had mentioned the disadvantages of being on the road, right?
Yes.
So I had thought about that for a long time. I had debated in my head, is that really a disadvantage? Just as an FYI, I heard a statistic the other day that the visiting teams during the COVID, when we had no fans in the stands,
Yeah.
the visiting teams average score went up by like I don't know the exact numbers, just don't quote me on this, but it was like 20%.
Oh yeah,
And I thought, well, that's an amazing difference.
absolutely.
And so I started doing the psychology on that. We're not going to talk about that right now, but for another time, we should have that conversation about how that works. And the
Well,
psychology
without getting
behind
into
it.
the full conversation, I would say Kansas City's right up there with places like Seattle, Philly, where that home field advantage really goes up quite a
Especially
bit.
like
So
in Seattle, they're so loud.
yes, yes.
Okay. All right.
WOMF it. I hope I don't get the London game. I really hope I don't get the London game.
Womp womp womp. Not London. It's Germany.
Oh, it's Germany?
It's Germany.
Please don't be the Germany game. Okay, it's not. It's Detroit versus Chicago. Oh, man. That one's just as bad.
If not worse.
So I'm going to take... Detroit is at Chicago. Chicago's getting the 3. It's pretty much automatic. 48.5. Fields is really looking good the last couple games. I like that over 48.5. I mean, you know me, I really don't like to take unders if I can help it. I really want teams to score. I rarely ever take an under. But yeah, Detroit, I think Detroit can score. And if Fields puts up another couple games like that, they could easily score.
Well, I'll give you this. The Bears have got 2 games in a row where they've scored over 30 points, I believe.
They didn't score 30 this last week. They scored 20. Or no, was it?
No, it was 31. They had 31, didn't they?
I don't know. I don't remember. We can look it up. But I know they did put up numbers. I didn't think it was quite 30. But Detroit and Chicago, neither one of those defenses is really, really putting up huge games. I'm going to take the Chicago -3 just because I'm on the fence about it. I'm going to just take the home team. So
Okay.
Chicago -3.
I like that pick because I think the Bears will beat Detroit. I think it's the one team in the division other than they may have a shot at beating Green Bay now.
Yeah.
But I think it's the one team in the division that they can beat.
Yeah.
All right, good. I'll WOMP and Google this at the same time.
How many people do you think at the beginning of the year in the preseason are pissed off that they took Green Bay, who was the second odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl? How many Packer fans bet it when it was like 12-1 or something? I bet you tons of them.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. What do we get? Oh, we got a new one. Good.
Oh my God, we got 3 in a row. We've never done that before, so.
All right, it's a new record. We'll celebrate later.
Please be the Seattle game.
All right. No. Houston versus the Giants.
Oh, that's another real stinker. I think you got the 2 worst games, I believe. The Thursday,
I think so.
The Atlanta, Carolina, and then the Houston and Giants.
So the Giants are favored by who gives a crap, and the over/under on that is I don't really give a crap.
By 5 and 40.5. So.
All right.
So what do you think?
I think that I should spin again. Can I spin again?
No, you cannot spin again.
Damn it. I'm gonna take the Giants in the -5.
Okay.
Let them cover that spread.
Giants -5.
Gosh, 40.5, really? Couldn't they pick a different number? All right. I'm gonna say over on that.
Okay.
But only barely over that. I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be like 41 or some crap because if I pick under, it's not gonna happen.
So you're gonna take over?
I'm taking the over.
Okay.
Taking the over.
Well, I'll tell you what. We both took a road team. We both took a home team. 3 overs and an under between our 8 picks. So
wow.
we didn't recap though.
Shouldn't that be 2 overs, 1 barely over and an under?
Hey, if it's a half point over, it's the same as 50 points over. So.
All right, fair enough.
All right. So Allen on the year is 11-12. Went 2-2 last week. The game that my game really killed me. I went 1-3. That Buffalo game killed me. I took a -11 and then over 46.5.
That was easy.
So I went 1-3. I'm 10-14. Allen is 11-12. Allen's gonna always be one number off total because he had that push a few weeks ago.
Wait a minute. What was my record?
2-2.
No, overall.
11-12.
That was easy.
It is easy to go 11-12.
It is not.
You know what's even easier for me is to go 10-14.
No, I thought you were gonna say finish your beer because mine's gone too.
Whatever.
Thirsty?
Yes.
We'll go get me a beer.
No.
I'll do the rest of the show.
No. We're almost done.
All right, fine. Move on.
All right, so that's what we got. So we'll see how we did. So both of us dropped below 50%. So
we did.
yeah.
We did. But comeback trail. We're on the comeback.
Just
trail.
like the Bears are coming back, we're gonna come back.
Right. We need to have a discussion about the Bears on. Well, we'll do that some other week when they don't.
Hey, the Cardinals are 3-6, so we're not doing much better. So both of our teams just suck.
All right. So guys, again, like, subscribe, share. Please spread the word of Bent on Fantasy Football. Alan and Josh would appreciate it. So would Josh Allen, I bet.
Yeah, Josh Allen would.
But yes, please do that. Like, subscribe, and share. And do you have anything else for him, Josh?
Yes. Well, now that you mention that, why isn't Josh Allen? Why didn't we reach out to him? Hey, if we get a Josh Allen jersey, we will hang that up here as well. Okay.
Yep. Well, right next to the James Robinson jersey.
Yes, we will.
Yes, absolutely. We'll take all this stuff down. I promise.
Yeah.
All right.
Other than that, I got nothing.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, I guess I never did finish looking up what I was looking up, so
Well, you're looking up the Bears score.
we're gonna close that down. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
anymore.
we'll talk about that next week if
Yeah.
we remember, which we won't.
We won't. So we're not gonna talk about that next week. But anyway, if you don't like that, just get bent.
On fantasy football.